Victory is not something you announce, it is something you embody. It is not forged in the bright lights of attention, but deep within the unseen hours where no audience is present. The most powerful triumphs are not shouted from rooftops, but lived quietly in full view of the doubters, the skeptics, and the silent spectators whose gaze cannot shake a soul anchored in purpose. This is not a cry for attention. It is a solemn vow whispered into the very marrow of your being, a vow to rise each morning with an unwavering spirit, to battle the hidden demons of doubt and fear, to master your mind, your habits, and your heart without ever seeking a single witness. The Stoics understood this ancient truth. It is not the crowd's applause that makes a man or woman great, but their steadfast commitment to virtue under pressure, in obscurity, and often without reward. Greatness does not bloom in the spotlight. It takes root in the shadowed soil of perseverance. Today, we set aside the clamor of the world, the petty contests of ego, and the need for recognition. We choose a different path, a path of relentless discipline, invisible victories, and quiet, immovable strength. We do not move for validation. We do not act for acknowledgement. Let the world watch if it wishes, but understand, we are not performing. We are building. We are becoming. And in becoming, we claim a power that no praise can inflate and no criticism can erode. Let's begin. Chapter 1. The Art of Building in Silence. The Stoics remind us that a sculptor does not celebrate with each small chip of the chisel. In the solitude of his studio, hidden from applause and admiration, he toils patiently, shaping cold, unyielding stone into a form that only he can envision at first. Each stroke appears minor, almost laughably insignificant, but it is precisely this consistency, this quiet devotion to unseen progress, that gives birth to a masterpiece. Over time, through sweat and stubborn hope, form emerges from the formless, beauty from the barren. The sculptor does not cry out for praise after each effort. He knows that the final creation, when complete, will speak louder than 1,000 boasts. Similarly, our personal victories are not grand proclamations at every turn. They are invisible, deliberate choices made moment after moment, day after day, often in solitude, often without recognition. These are not the loud victories that draw crowds, but the quiet, determined steps that only we ourselves can truly appreciate. It is in the persistent endurance through these unseen battles that we ultimately carve out the shape of who we are destined to become, not overnight, but through a lifetime of quiet courage and tireless discipline. Epictetus urged us to be more concerned with your character than your reputation. For reputation is something others bestow, often whimsically and without deep understanding, while character is your sacred task, your permanent creation, the masterpiece that endures beyond public opinion. When you labor quietly, when you cultivate your craft, your discipline, your virtue away from the bright lights of attention, you build a strength that is immune to the corrosion of both excessive praise and harsh criticism. You liberate yourself from the restless, shifting winds of others' opinions, anchoring instead in the bedrock of your own values, something solid, unshakable, and immovable. There will always be temptations to reveal early fruits of your labor, to flash glimpses of your progress in hopes of applause, to chase fleeting validation before the work is ripe. In a world increasingly obsessed with immediate results and public affirmation, it is no small feat to hold your victories close to your chest and remain steadfast. But each time you resist the siren song of premature recognition, you are not merely exercising restraint, you are nurturing a deeper, rarer strength within yourself. You are laying down the bricks of an unseen but indestructible spirit, stacking quiet discipline over silent endurance, moment after moment. Each time you let your quiet efforts remain private, each time you choose integrity over exhibition, You are pouring layer upon layer of invisible concrete into the unseen foundation of your character. Every withheld boast, every unshared accomplishment, every silent victory lays another unseen stone into the fortress you are building within yourself. You are hardening your resolve with every quiet decision, forging a core so resilient, so deeply rooted, that it requires no audience to validate its existence and no external reward to affirm its worth. You are becoming, not performing. You are rising without announcement, strengthening without fanfare, advancing without the need for parade or proclamation. You are building the kind of internal fortress that no applause can make sturdier, no insult can erode, no betrayal can fracture, and no storm, no matter how fierce, can topple. A fortress unseen yet undeniable, as real and as vital as any tangible achievement, but infinitely more enduring. This is the temple you raise to yourself, a sacred space of discipline, courage, and humility that needs no visitor, no worshipper, no witness but you. This fortress is your legacy, your silent monument to perseverance, virtue, and true greatness. It will not decay with time, nor will it crumble under the weight of criticism or the seduction of praise. It stands firm, impervious to the shifting tides of public opinion, stronger with each passing year, a testament not to what you displayed momentarily, but to what you became permanently in the sacred privacy of your own journey. It is a legacy written not in words or accolades, but in the deep, unshakable fact of who you are. Start a silent journal where you record your wins privately each day. Keep them for yourself. Let your reflection be the only applause you seek. Chapter 2. The Wisdom of Indifference. It is not things themselves that disturb us, Epictetus says, but our opinions about them. The Stoic path demands that we detach our emotional well-being from the reactions of others. If they doubt you, let them. If they gossip, let them. If they cheer, let them. Your mission is not to control their perceptions. Your mission is to control yourself. When you find yourself disturbed by what others think or say, pause and recognize that their judgments are merely external events, as uncontrollable and indifferent to your will as the passing of the seasons. Would you argue with the rain falling from the sky? Would you resent the cold touch of snow upon the earth? No. You would prepare for the rain, you would dress for the snow, and you would continue your journey regardless. You would not rage against the storm, for you would know that the storm answers to no man. Their opinions, their criticisms, even their admiration are like shifting winds that blow unpredictably, swirling in chaotic patterns beyond your control. To let yourself be tossed by them is to surrender your peace, to place your internal state in the hands of forces that are as fleeting and unstable as a passing storm. To remain steady, to anchor your emotions in your own reason and principles, is to claim true mastery over yourself, the highest form of sovereignty the Stoics urge us to pursue. Allow the world to do as it will. Let the voices rise and fall like distant thunder across a vast, indifferent sky, echoes of opinion that cannot reach the core of your being. Let the whispers of judgment come and go like autumn leaves caught in a restless breeze, swirling briefly in a dance of irrelevance before falling into silence and being forgotten altogether. Opinions will shift, alliances will break, and perceptions will twist, but none of these will define you unless you choose to be defined by them. You, meanwhile, will do as you must, steadfast, unyielding, rooted deeply in your purpose, like a lighthouse battered but unbroken by the endless pounding of the sea. Let the waves crash in rage against your foundation. Let the winds howl with the fury of unseen critics and unseen storms. You will stand. You will shine on, not for the approval of others, not to gather the fleeting praise of a moment, but because it is in your very nature to radiate steadfastness, virtue, and inner fire. Understand this. Your fire was not lit by the admiration of the world, and so it cannot be extinguished by its contempt. It is a fire built with the kindling of your daily disciplines, fanned by the breath of your own endurance, protected by the armor of your own convictions. No matter how fierce the storm becomes, no matter how many voices rise against you, your fire will burn brighter, because it draws its strength not from outside conditions, but from within, from the soul of one who knows they were born not to seek approval, but to embody greatness. The next time you feel triggered by someone's words or actions, pause. Remind yourself, this is an external event. It has no power over my mind unless I grant it. Chapter 3. The Discipline of Daily Excellence. Winning is not an act of sudden brilliance, it is the sum of daily disciplines. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be. Be one." Action, not proclamation, marks the Stoic. Each day you rise is a new battlefield, a fresh proving ground where the mettle of your character is tested anew, often in ways you could not predict. Each task, no matter how small or seemingly insignificant, becomes a sacred opportunity to fortify who you are, to align your actions with the deepest principles you claim to hold dear. Your morning routine, carried out with consistency and care, is a declaration of your inner discipline, a silent contract you sign daily with your future self. The way you speak to others, with patience, respect and thoughtfulness, is a living testament to the strength and clarity of your values. Your perseverance in the face of hardship, when the hours grow long, the challenges grow heavy, and the temptation to retreat becomes overwhelming, is the sharpening of your spirit against the relentless whetstone of adversity. These are your weapons, simple, quiet, and devastatingly powerful when wielded with relentless intent, unbroken by the distractions and dramas that engulf lesser minds. Sharpen them without hesitation, hone them daily with discipline, vigilance, and unyielding pride in your internal standards. Wield them with unwavering precision, remembering always that excellence is not an act, but a habit, a series of small, almost invisible choices that accumulate until they become an unstoppable force. Every small act of integrity, every unseen effort, every quiet refusal to cut corners, betray your values, or surrender to expediency is a sword stroke against the forces of mediocrity, laziness, and weakness. The battlefield of life is not one with grand, dramatic gestures that dazzle for a moment and then fade. It is one through the steady, tireless accumulation of consistent excellence that compounds over time until your life itself becomes undeniable proof of your mastery. There is no need, nor any wisdom, in announcing your intentions to the world. No virtue in pleading for recognition from those too consumed by their own distractions to truly see. There is no requirement to broadcast your mission or trumpet your ambitions to ears that listen only superficially, quickly forgetting today's noise in tomorrow's clamor. Your path, your duty, remains untouched by their fleeting attention. Instead, there is only the sacred, solemn need to live your mission fully, to embody your values so completely, so unflinchingly, that your very existence becomes your unspoken declaration to the world. You must live your convictions so deeply that they infuse every action, every word, every silent choice, until your victories unfold, not with fanfare, but with the unstoppable grace of inevitability, like the slow, mighty emergence of a river carving a canyon. Every thought you nurture, every decision you make, every time you choose principle over convenience instead of fleeting comfort, you etch deeper the contours of your true self. Each sacrifice you make when no one is watching. Each moment you choose discipline over distraction. Each quiet stand you take for your values adds invisible weight to the foundation of your soul. Your strength is not merely in the moments of visible triumph, but in the countless, invisible affirmations of who you are when no eyes are upon you, when the world neither applauds nor even notices, but you persist all the same. Let your strength be written into the very fiber of your being, stitched into your habits, welded into your demeanor, breathed into every word and action. Let it radiate not in desperate shouts for recognition, but in the calm, immovable energy of a life lived with principle. Let it be witnessed not by crowds hungry for spectacle, not celebrated by banners, trumpets, or fleeting cheers, but acknowledged by the quiet certainty within you, that unwavering knowing that you have stood tall against the pull of mediocrity. Let it be so deeply entrenched that even when storms rage, when doubts creep insidiously through the cracks, when the world turns cold and indifferent, you stand firm, a monument to unseen courage, a living testament to the invisible victories that no one saw, but that shaped you far more powerfully than any accolade ever could. It is your soul that will know the truth of your triumphs, the profound, almost sacred understanding that you fought the right battles even when easier roads tempted you, that you carried the right burdens even when surrender beckoned, and that you endured the unseen tests that quietly forged you into something unbreakable, luminous, and enduring beyond time. It is the soul that carries the quiet, enduring flame of your effort, a light not kindled by admiration nor extinguished by neglect, but burning brighter and hotter with each unseen conquest and every silent, stubborn stand for the virtues you hold sacred, a fire that even the fiercest winds of the world cannot snuff out, because it was never theirs to command. Choose one virtue each week: patience, courage, humility, discipline, generosity, wisdom, and immerse yourself fully in its practice. Let it be the guiding principle behind every action, great or small. In every conversation, every decision, every response to adversity, weave this virtue deliberately into your behavior. Reflect each morning on how you will embody it, and each evening on where you succeeded and where you stumbled. Over time, these weekly focuses will layer upon each other, not as disconnected exercises, but as a cohesive strengthening of your character, forging a soul resilient enough to endure storms and radiant enough to inspire without a word. Chapter 4. The Power of Enduring Criticism. Seneca, writing to his friend Lucilius, often warned that the pursuit of philosophy would bring mockery. "Others may laugh at you," he wrote, "because you study virtue. Let them laugh." Criticism is a strange thing. It often says more about the critic than the criticized. When you are rising, you threaten the comfort of those who remain seated. Expect resistance, expect misunderstanding, expect ridicule, but smile, let them watch. Every insult absorbed without retaliation, every slight endured with calm composure, is a victory not visible to the naked eye, but one that quietly forges and strengthens your spirit beyond measure. These silent victories, though unseen by others, create a deep reservoir of resilience within you, a resilience that cannot be easily shaken, tarnished, or diminished. Each insult passed over without anger, each slight brushed aside without bitterness, is a hammer blow on the anvil of your character, shaping it into something stronger, finer, and more enduring with every patient act of self-restraint. These moments, while appearing small and inconsequential to the outside world, are monumental battles waged within the heart, battles that temper your spirit like steel hardened by fire. Every time you resist the urge to retaliate, every time you refuse the temptation to descend into pettiness, you strengthen an unseen core that few will ever recognize, but which you will forever carry within you. The refusal to stoop low is not an act of weakness, but an act of supreme power, of choosing the long road of self-mastery over the instant gratification of reaction. This is the slow, methodical work of fortifying your inner citadel against future storms. Each slight overlooked, each insult shrugged off with grace, is a brick laid carefully in the walls of your spirit. Their noise will rise and fall like passing storms, loud, distracting, and sometimes even violent, but ultimately harmless if you refuse to grant them entry into your mind and spirit. Like the winds that howl around the unshakable mountain, their chaos can buffet your exterior, but never touch your core if you remain steadfast. Their voices, once so loud and commanding, filled with judgment and malice, will eventually fade into the background hum of a world that will always be noisy, restless, and eager to provoke those who dare to rise above the fray. Yet, amidst this clamor, your virtue, patiently and quietly cultivated, stands resilient, an unmoved pillar of silent power, casting its presence without needing to demand attention. It will endure not because it was defended at every turn with shouting or self-justification, but because it was built on foundations too deep for insults to reach, too fortified for criticism to erode, and too pure to be poisoned by the shifting, transient opinions of the crowd. It will shine quietly in a noisy world, unaffected by the fickle judgments of others. In this silent enduring, you do not merely survive, you triumph, you rise, you ascend beyond the reach of the world's turbulence, not through conflict, but through the implacable strength of character that needs no audience, no defense, and no recognition to justify its worth. When criticized, practice responding with sincere curiosity. Ask yourself, is there a grain of truth I can use to grow? If not, discard the criticism like a stone from your path. Chapter 5. The Majesty of Patience. Rome was not built in a day, nor is a soul fortified in an afternoon. Patience is not passive resignation, it is active resilience. It is the quiet confidence that time, effort, and virtue will prevail, even when immediate results are absent. Marcus Aurelius spoke often of nature's timing. No man can hasten the harvest. You cannot force your greatness to arrive faster than it should. You can only plant, water, and tend your garden. Impatience reveals doubt. Patience reveals mastery. Each day of perseverance, each small but unwavering decision to rise again, despite the aching weariness of setbacks, each refusal to give up or lash out in anger or despair, is another silent triumph in the invisible war you are fighting within. These victories are not marked by fanfare or headlines. They are quiet revolutions of the soul, powerful shifts that strengthen your spirit in ways too profound to be immediately seen. Each day you persist, you carve deeper the channels of resilience within yourself, creating currents that will one day carry you beyond the reach of common struggle. No banners are raised, no medals awarded, yet in these hidden moments, your foundation is being deepened. Your roots are growing stronger beneath the surface where no one else can see, preparing to bear the great weight of a life built on unshakable values. Let them wait. Let them wonder. Let them puzzle endlessly over how you endure without bitterness, how you persist without visible reward, how you thrive without begging for their validation. Let them construct theories and whisper their confusion into the wind. Some will dismiss your perseverance as luck. Others will question your silence. Let them. You, meanwhile, will continue to sow, day after day, moment after moment, seeding the soil of your future with patience, resilience, unwavering self-belief, and a quiet faith stronger than any passing opinion. Your hands will work, your heart will endure, your spirit will breathe silently into the long, unseen labor, confident that true greatness germinates far from the light of spectators. You will trust that in due time the harvest will come, vast, magnificent, undeniable, an achievement so deeply rooted in truth and earned through such relentless dedication that it needs no advertisement, no explanation, no defense. It will not shout its arrival. It will simply exist, commanding recognition through the sheer immensity of its authenticity. It will simply stand, self-evident and glorious, an echo of every quiet battle you fought and won when the world wasn't watching, each invisible sacrifice now blossoming into a field of undeniable greatness. Your triumph will be the natural flowering of all the silent disciplines you maintained, a slow and deliberate unfolding, like a mighty oak that grew imperceptibly through countless seasons of wind and storm, its strength hidden until one day it towers above all else. It will be a living monument to the extraordinary power of patience, perseverance, and unbreakable inner resolve. A beacon to others, not because it sought attention, but because true greatness can no more be hidden than the rising of the sun after a long, dark night. Every unseen choice, every silent sacrifice, every refusal to quit when quitting was easier, will culminate in a harvest too vast to be denied and too authentic to ever be diminished. Set long-term goals with clarity and purpose, envisioning not just what you wish to achieve, but who you must become in the process. Break these goals down into daily, manageable tasks, small, actionable steps that can be consistently taken without overwhelming the mind or spirit. Let each day become a building block, each task a brick laid carefully in the grand architecture of your future. Treat these daily efforts as sacred appointments with your destiny. Measure your success not by the immediate speed of your results, but by the constancy and quality of your effort. Success, in the Stoic sense, is not a sudden event, but a steady evolution, a gradual becoming forged in the fires of persistent labor. Celebrate the discipline to show up, the resilience to continue through discouragement, and the quiet victories of having remained true to your mission. Let your scoreboard be the strength of your will, the sharpness of your focus, and the calm pride that comes from knowing you honored your commitment, no matter what the outside world says, or how slowly the fruits of your labor begin to ripen. Chapter 6. The Strength in Letting Go. To the Stoic, clinging is a form of weakness. Clinging to validation, to praise, to resentment, all are chains that bind the soul. True freedom, the kind that allows you to win with grace, comes from mastering the art of letting go. Epictetus taught that the things we love must be held lightly, as if with strings ready to snap at any moment. When you release your need for approval, you gain an unshakable inner peace. When you no longer grasp for recognition, you move freely, unburdened. The world may misunderstand you. Let it. The world may twist your intentions, question your motives, diminish your silent triumphs, or even mock your patience. Let it. Let them speculate. Let them doubt. Let them weave their own stories about your purpose and your path, constructing narratives born not from understanding, but from their own limited perspectives. You were not made to be understood by everyone, nor should your peace depend upon their comprehension, their acceptance, or their fleeting applause. You were made to live virtuously, to pursue truth, courage, justice, temperance, and self-mastery with an unwavering spirit, regardless of how the crowds interpret your path or how many turn away in indifference or even hostility. You were fashioned for a higher calling, one that does not bend to the approval of the crowd or the fleeting moods of society. True glory lies not in universal approval, not in the shallow tides of popular favor that rise and fall with the whims of fashion, but in the deep, quiet certainty that you have lived according to higher principles that are eternal and unshakable, invisible to many, but luminous to the wise few who recognize such strength when they see it. Stand firm in your truth, even when others misjudge you, even when their whispers grow louder, their glances sharpen, and their eyes turn suspicious. Stand firm when they try to paint your steadfastness as arrogance or your silence as weakness, mistaking the still waters of your inner conviction for emptiness rather than depth. Their confusion, their misinterpretations, their criticisms are no burden to you. They are merely the background noise of a world too often distracted by the superficial to recognize the profound, too entranced by spectacle to notice the quiet dignity of integrity. Your integrity is your silent, enduring victory, a lighthouse standing firm through fog and storm, needing no validation to justify its unwavering presence, no applause to fuel its shining. It simply stands, steady, resolute and undeniable, a beacon for those wise enough to see, and an immovable truth even to those too blind to recognize it. In choosing virtue over vanity, resilience over recognition, steadfastness over approval, you build a life that does not merely survive misunderstanding, it transcends it. It rises above it. It flourishes silently, patiently, imperceptibly, until even those who once doubted or dismissed you are left awed, not by spectacle, not by noise, but by the immovable, undeniable strength you have become, a testament to the enduring power of living in steadfast accordance with your highest principles, no matter who understands and no matter who does not. Each time you notice yourself seeking approval, pause and repeat, I am enough as I am, in virtue and in effort. Chapter 7. The Quiet Power of Inner Metrics. Seneca once said, "It is not the man who has too little, but the man who craves more, that is poor." Apply this wisdom not only to possessions, but also to recognition, approval, and validation. To crave the spotlight, to hunger for applause, is to chain your worth to forces outside your control. True richness of spirit lies not in the abundance of admiration, but in the absence of need for it. Measure your success by your own internal standards, those unwavering principles you have chosen after deep reflection, not by the fickle, shifting goalposts of public opinion. Ask yourself, did you act with courage today, even when fear whispered otherwise? Did you speak truthfully, even when lies would have been more convenient? Did you uphold your discipline when comfort tempted you to stray? Did you act with kindness even when it went unnoticed? These are the victories that matter, not the ones the crowd praises, but the ones your soul silently applauds. Public favor is a tide that rises and falls without warning, sweeping in and out with no allegiance to truth or consistency. The crowd will always be fickle, loving you today, forgetting you tomorrow, twisting your story when it suits them, and cheering or condemning without true understanding of the battles you fight. Their memory is short, their judgment shallow, their loyalties ever-shifting like the restless ocean under the winds of fashion and gossip. But your soul is a quieter, truer witness, unmoved by the noise, steadfast in its knowing. It knows the invisible struggles you endure, the late nights spent in doubt, the mornings you rise despite weariness, the burdens you carry without complaint. It knows the sacrifices you make, the temptations you resist, the silent vows you keep to live with integrity even when no one is watching. It knows whether you stayed loyal to your highest self when it would have been easier, so much easier, to betray your ideals for quick gain or fleeting approval. And in the end, it is only this internal reckoning that matters, the quiet and honest account you keep with yourself, a ledger written not in the ink of public praise, but in the invisible lines of your daily choices. It is the enduring triumph inscribed not in fleeting headlines, but in the very architecture of your character, the stronghold you have built stone by stone through every small act of integrity and every silent refusal to compromise your values. It is the victory celebrated not with the noise of the world, but with the silent satisfaction that fills a soul faithful to its highest ideals. This is the lasting triumph that no external force can ever take away, no matter how fiercely the winds of criticism blow or how loudly the crowds roar and fade. It is the quiet crown you place upon your own spirit, a coronation witnessed only by your conscience, heavier and more glorious than any earthly accolade. This crown does not tarnish with time, does not falter under pressure, and remains unshaken by the storms of public opinion. It is immortal against the passing of time, a testament to the indomitable strength you cultivated within, the unbreakable fortress you built when no one was watching, and the sacred truth that you have truly won where it matters most. End each day by asking, "Did I live today according to my principles?" Reflect on the moments where you held true and the moments where you faltered. Analyze not with harshness, but with the calm mind of a craftsman inspecting his work, seeking refinement, not condemnation. Consider the small acts of courage, the words of kindness spoken when it was difficult, the temptations resisted, and the patience maintained. Let these reflections deepen your understanding of who you are becoming. Let this be the only scoreboard you ever consult, not the fleeting accolades of others, but the enduring quiet witness of your own soul, keeping faithful record of your journey toward mastery. Chapter 8. The Resilience of a Steady Heart. Life's tempests will come, betrayals, losses, setbacks, and moments of profound uncertainty. The Stoics remind us that it is not the storm that defines us, but how we navigate it, how we anchor ourselves when the winds howl and the skies darken beyond recognition. Marcus Aurelius envisioned himself as a rocky promontory against which the waves break, leaving him unmoved, not because the storm is weak, but because he has chosen to be immovable. So must you be. Your strength must be silent but undeniable, your willpower a force that the external chaos cannot penetrate. When challenges rise and when eyes, both hopeful and doubting, are upon you, do not collapse, do not rage against the injustice of your trials, and do not curse your fate. Instead, rise with calmness woven into your very soul, a calmness so deep it radiates beyond words. Stand tall as an emblem of fortitude, dignified and composed, unshaken by the drama that seeks to pull lesser souls into panic and despair. Let the noise rage around you, let the storms howl with all their fury, let the doubters whisper and the watchers speculate. Let them throw their storms and cast their doubts, for your steadiness is not for them, it is the fulfillment of your own vow to yourself. Let them watch as you remain steady, unwavering in your silent defiance against fear and chaos. Let them witness a spirit that does not tremble when battered by life's tempests, a spirit anchored so deeply in principle, in virtue, and in self-command that no external force, however violent, can shake it. Let their doubts crash like waves against the fortress of your soul, finding no entrance, no weakness to exploit, no crack through which despair may seep. Your strength will not be broadcast with screams or boasts, but revealed through the majestic stillness of endurance, a profound silence that speaks louder than any cry of resistance, louder than any desperate plea for validation, louder than the chaos that craves a reaction. True strength is not found in shouting back at the storm, attempting to match its fury with noise of your own, but in standing firm and unmoved, a living symbol of resilience whose mere existence is a defiance of chaos. It is found in the moments when you smile calmly amid adversity, when you continue your work in the face of ridicule, when you hold fast to your course while others scatter and flee in fear. True strength is the stillness that endures, the quiet, unbreakable power that no hardship can uproot, no insult can fracture, no tempest can extinguish. It is the silent thunder of your will, echoing long after the storm has passed, leaving those who witnessed it in awe, not because you fought back loudly, but because you endured so powerfully, so immovably, that resistance itself became unnecessary. Your triumph will be written not in shouts, but in the deep, enduring silence of an unconquered soul. When faced with adversity, breathe deeply and envision yourself as an immovable rock, not a passive object, but an enduring force of nature, calm and unshaken amidst the fiercest storms. Feel the chaos crash against you like waves against stone, and yet remain unmoved, untouched at your core. Anchor your mind in your principles, holding them as sacred truths that no insult, no hardship, no external tempest can dislodge. Draw strength from this foundation. Let your actions flow from this anchored place, deliberate and firm, like a river carving through stone with patient, unstoppable power. Act not from fear, not from anger, but from the deep, steady conviction that your foundation is built on what no storm can destroy. Chapter 9. The Dignity of Relentless Focus. The world is full of distractions, gossip, spectacle, envy, the endless hum of irrelevant noise designed to pull your attention away from what truly matters. Every corner of modern life seems built to disrupt your focus and dilute your purpose. The flashing lights, the breaking news, the endless demands for your attention are sirens luring you off course. The man who can keep his eyes firmly on his own work amid this sea of noise commands a rare and noble power, a strength more valuable and rare than wealth, fame, or any fleeting honor. Concentrate every minute, Marcus wrote, on doing what's in front of you with precise and genuine seriousness. Concentration is not a passive act, but a daily battle, a conscious defiance against the forces that would steal your mind away from the sacred task at hand. To focus is to wage war against the trivial, to declare with your attention that only what is true and essential deserves your energy. It is an act of daily heroism to protect your mind from fragmentation, to shield your energy from being wasted on matters that do not build you into who you must become. Let them chatter, let them criticize, let them speculate, let them waste their time in endless circles of gossip and spectacle, their energy dissolving into 1,000 meaningless pursuits, like mist vanishing under the noonday sun. Let them spend their precious hours measuring the movements of others, entangling themselves in jealousy and comparison. You, meanwhile, walk another path entirely. Your task is sacred, to do the work with the whole of your mind, your heart, your spirit, without dilution or distraction, without apology for your devotion. To work with a gravity so deep that the shallow ripples of outside opinion cannot reach you. To rise not through grand speeches or ostentatious declarations, but through quiet, tireless effort, through daily rituals of discipline that forge strength so profound it cannot be taken, only witnessed. Through a commitment so deep that it becomes unshakable, a discipline so relentless that it eventually silences all doubt and withstands all distraction. Focus is not just a tool, it is a weapon, a shield, and a sanctuary, a sacred force that protects the integrity of your purpose against the endless distractions of a noisy world. It is a mark of reverence for your own potential, a visible manifestation of your highest respect for the gifts and opportunities you have been given, gifts the careless squander without thought, gifts the distracted surrender without even realizing their value. To focus is to honor your existence with a kind of fierce loyalty, to plant your energy like a flag on the territory of your own dreams and refuse to yield it. Every moment you defend your focus, every breath you give to your true work, every refusal to be pulled into pettiness, spectacle, or envy, you are paying homage to the greatness seeded within you, a greatness that demands silence, patience, and relentless devotion to bloom. You are nurturing it with the only currency that matters, your undivided effort, your unwavering attention, your disciplined refusal to be anything less than what you are capable of becoming. Every sacrifice you make of comfort for the sake of progress, every time you say no to distractions that promise fleeting pleasure, you reinforce the foundation of a life shaped by true purpose. In this devotion, you separate yourself not with noise but with substance, a separation not marked by arrogance but by the unshakable calm of someone who knows their path and walks it without apology, without explanation, and without hesitation. You move differently, think differently, live differently, as one who has chosen a life of meaning over mediocrity. You become rare, a singular force of nature moving against the tide of distraction, unrecognizable to those who trade away their potential for trivialities. You become unstoppable, not because of loud ambition shouted from rooftops, but because of quiet consistency that wears away obstacles as water carves through rock. You become undeniable, a living testament to what is possible when a soul honors its mission with the full weight of its being, when a human heart chooses the slow, sacred work of mastery over the empty chase of external approval. Your life becomes more than a journey. It becomes a living proof that greatness does not bloom overnight, nor in the spotlight, but in the disciplined, invisible moments where focus is held, values are upheld, and work is honored day after faithful day. You show that the true victory is not sudden and loud, but gradual and silent, taking root beneath the surface until it rises with undeniable strength. Your existence becomes a quiet rebellion against the fast, the hollow, and the superficial. You stand as a beacon of what patient, devoted effort can achieve when others have long since surrendered to impatience and distraction. The depth of your craft, the steadiness of your principles, and the power of your consistency form a foundation that no fleeting trend can overshadow. Each silent day of commitment becomes a thread woven into the fabric of an extraordinary life, a life crafted not for applause, but for meaning, not for spectacle, but for substance. In every unnoticed choice, every unseen act of excellence, you inch closer to the unshakable reality of your own silent, unstoppable victory. Designate sacred hours each day, periods of inviolable time where you work without distraction, fully present, fully engaged, and entirely committed to your highest purpose. These hours are not merely blocks of time, they are solemn ceremonies of devotion to your craft, your dreams, and your own becoming. Treat them with the gravity you would reserve for the most important appointment of your life, because they are exactly that. Guard these sacred hours as a warrior guards his shield, knowing that your focus is your defense against the chaos of the world. Make them a sanctuary where no triviality may intrude, where no lesser obligation is permitted to steal your attention. Within these hours, you build the fortress of your future, stone by stone, action by action, thought by thought. Honor them, protect them, and let them become the invisible engine driving you steadily toward mastery. Chapter 10. The Silent Thunder of Mastery. Victory, in the Stoic sense, is not a single moment but a way of being, an unbroken chain of decisions, each one forged deliberately in the quiet fire of self-mastery. It is the daily accumulation of small acts of virtue, the relentless forging of character through each decision, each hardship, each triumph endured silently and without expectation. It is the silent, tireless construction of a life aligned with truth, courage, temperance, and justice, built moment by moment like a temple raised stone by stone, with no ceremony, no spectators, only the sacred tools of discipline, devotion, and endurance in your hands. Every small, unseen choice, every act of integrity performed without an audience, every hardship faced without complaint, is another brick in a fortress too strong for the tempests of fortune to destroy. You do not need to announce your excellence. You do not need to plead for acknowledgement, display your progress for validation, or crave recognition from those who cannot comprehend the magnitude of your work. Your excellence will announce itself in time, through the serenity of your presence, the calm depth of your gaze, the unwavering steadiness of your actions, and the quiet, radiant joy that comes from knowing you are aligned with your highest self. True excellence is self-evident. It needs no billboard, no boasting, no desperate cries for validation. It will radiate from you naturally, seen by those with the eyes to see, felt by those whose spirits are tuned to recognize what is rare and real. It will be woven into every word you speak, every silent act of resilience, every step you take with intention and humility. In time, those who doubted will fall silent, their words swallowed by the steady unfolding of your reality, by the undeniable force of a life lived in quiet triumph. Those who watched from a distance will wonder, astonished at the mountain that rose quietly while they were busy measuring clouds, distracted by fleeting things that held no true weight. And you will need no applause, no validation, no crown fashioned by fickle hands. You will not seek the fleeting flowers of public favor. You will gather instead the eternal harvest of inner triumph, a bounty no external force can steal or tarnish. Your reward will be something far greater, something no crowd can bestow and no critic can take away. Mastery of yourself, the unshakable peace of a soul that stayed the course, that chose virtue over vanity, discipline over ease, perseverance over comfort, and purpose over noise, even when the easier paths beckoned and the world cried out for distraction. Let them watch you win, not with shouts, not with banners, not with desperate displays of ambition, but with the silent, undeniable power of a life meticulously and purposefully lived. A life that needs no defense, no announcement, no grand declaration, because its authenticity speaks louder than any proclamation. A life that requires no introduction and no approval to justify its existence, because the purity of its construction is evident to any discerning soul. Let them see the quiet, patient strength that only the slow passage of time can fully reveal. Strength accumulated not in the rush of victories shouted from rooftops, but in the steadfast, unseen work of a spirit dedicated to its mission. Let them see the victory that is not loudly declared, but demonstrated in the smallest of habits, the persistence of discipline, the constancy of integrity, the slow, sacred work of mastery unfolding day after day with unwavering devotion. Let them see it in the way you rise each morning with quiet purpose, in the way you endure each hardship with calm resilience, in the way you pour your soul into your efforts without a cry for recognition. Let them observe the way your steady hands continue their labor long after others have surrendered to comfort and distraction. Let them bear witness to the quiet thunder of your will, the deep, resonant echo of your perseverance that reverberates long after the noise of lesser pursuits has faded away. Let them notice, in the stillness of your resolve, a force more powerful than any shout, the unstoppable momentum of a soul that has chosen its purpose and will not be turned aside. Let them see, if they have the eyes to see, the quiet majesty of a human spirit, perfected not by applause, but by a devotion so complete it transforms toil into triumph. Leave them in awe, not by what you declare, but by what you quietly build in plain sight. A life so grounded, so true, that even silence becomes a roaring testimony to the power of relentless, faithful effort. Leave them wondering how such greatness arose without fanfare, and let them realize, too late, that the most extraordinary victories are always born in silence, far from the gaze of the impatient and the proud. Dedicate yourself to a lifelong pursuit of mastery, not for recognition, not for the fleeting applause of others, but for the deep, enduring joy of becoming all that you were meant to be. Let every action, every choice, every moment be a deliberate step on this sacred journey. Treat every decision as a brushstroke on the canvas of your life, each task a brick in the towering monument of your character. Let your growth be steady, patient, and rooted not in external comparison, but in internal devotion. Understand that mastery is not an end point, but an infinite horizon, calling you forward with every sunrise. Let every moment be infused with reverence for the potential within you, every small sacrifice, every quiet act of discipline, every humble acceptance of failure, followed by renewed effort. Mastery is not won in a day. It is etched into your being through the relentless pursuit of excellence, the unwavering dedication to the craft of becoming your highest self. Make your journey itself a masterpiece, a testament to the sacred vow you make to honor your existence with full sincerity, full courage, and full heart.